She was meant to be instructing in mathematics, not whatever this is. Alexander Reed lingered in the doorway, his voice taut with restrained irritation. Sophia Daniels glanced up from the kitchen counter, flour speckling her teal dress and a smudge of chocolate adorning her cheek. Next to her, 8-year-old Lily laughed, her blonde ponytail swaying as she eagerly stirred the cookie dough. "Greetings, Mr. Reed. You're home early," Sophia said, her smile wavering a bit under his serious look. "Daddy, look, we're making Grandma Evelyn's special cookies," Lily exclaimed, her joy brighter than Alexander had witnessed in months. "Miss Daniels, could we have a moment to talk in private?" Alexander's voice carried a calm professionalism, revealing nothing of the unusual flutter in his chest as he observed the domestic scene unfolding before him. In his home office, Alexander gently shut the door, the sound a soft click in the quiet room. "I brought you on board to enhance Lily's math performance, not to instruct her in baking." Sophia squared her shoulders. "With all due respect, Mr. Reed, I am instructing her on fractions. Measurements, doubling recipes, temperature conversions, these are all real-world applications of the concepts she finds challenging. By transforming my kitchen into a chaotic mess?" Sophia responded by connecting the learning to her own experiences. "When was the last occasion you witnessed her so thrilled about something?" The question struck Alexander with the force of a tangible impact. When did it last occur? Since Claire passed away 2 years ago, his once lively residence had transformed into little more than a graceful tomb. 3 weeks prior, Alexander had been seated in his immaculate office, examining Lily's most recent progress report with increasing unease. His daughter's academic performance had significantly declined, and her teacher observed a growing disengagement from classroom participation. "Excuse me, sir?" The voice of his assistant echoed through the intercom. "The candidates for the tutoring positions have arrived for their interviews." Before Sophia Daniels stepped into his office, Alexander had already conducted interviews with 4 candidates. While others had been daunted by his affluence or caught up in their own self-importance, Sophia held his gaze firmly, her portfolio highlighting groundbreaking teaching techniques. "Your resume is quite remarkable, Mississippi." Daniels, Alexander recognized. "I've observed that you are presently teaching at Westlake Elementary. What motivates someone to transition from a secure job to tutoring?" "I think education ought to be tailored to individual needs," Sophia responded. "In a room filled with 30 eager minds, achieving that seems almost unattainable. Through personalized tutoring, I can truly create an impact." As they delved into the topic of compensation, Sophia remained unfazed by his proposal, directing her attention towards grasping Lily's requirements. "Could I have the opportunity to meet her prior to finalizing any decisions?" Alexander stood in the doorway, a sense of reluctance washing over him as he observed Sophia making her way toward his reserved daughter in the mansion's library. "Hi, Lily, I'm Sophia," she said, taking a seat across from the girl instead of towering over her. "I heard from your dad that you're facing some challenges with math." Lily had merely shrugged, her gaze locked onto the ground. "You know, I faced challenges with math as well when I was your age," Sophia shared. "My teacher made me feel inadequate for seeking clarification." Lily's gaze had momentarily darted upward. "I encountered this particular issue regarding a train departing from Chicago," Sophia went on, her expression eliciting a fleeting smile from Lily. "The haunting memories of that train continue to plague my dreams." By the conclusion of their 15-minute introduction, Lily found herself genuinely amused by Sophia's intentional misunderstanding of a straightforward issue. Alexander stood in disbelief, observing as his daughter connected with a stranger far more than she had with him in recent months. He immediately brought Sophia on board, providing her with explicit instructions. 3 sessions each week, dedicated solely to enhancing academic performance, accompanied by comprehensive progress reports. It was essential to uphold professional boundaries with unwavering commitment. In his office, surrounded by the delicate presence of flour-dusted Sophia, Alexander found himself grappling with the tension between his annoyance and the vivid memory of Lily's radiant smile. "Mr. Reed," Sophia murmured gently. "Lily shines with brilliance, yet there's a sense of detachment about her." Educating goes beyond merely sharing knowledge. It involves forging relationships that enrich the learning experience. Alexander swept his fingers through his hair. Her grades are on the rise, Sophia concluded, retrieving her tablet to display Lily's most recent quiz scores. However, what truly matters is that she's participating once more. She poses inquiries, forging links. Alexander gazed at the screen, then at the resolute woman standing before him. A feeling awakened within him, transcending mere attraction to her striking beauty, blossoming into a deep admiration for her fervent passion. Sophia said, "I should return to Lily," when he stayed quiet. The cookies require a precise baking time of 12 minutes, yet another opportunity for a math lesson. As she pivoted to depart, Alexander caught sight of a tiny notebook that had slipped from her bag. He grasped it and effortlessly opened it up. Inside were not lesson plans but drawings. Lily's artwork depicting 3 stick figures. A tall man in a suit, a little girl with yellow pigtails, and a woman with brown hair. They were known as Daddy, Me, and Miss Sophia, all intertwined in a joyful embrace under a beaming sun. It marked the first occasion since Claire's passing that he witnessed Lily create a depiction of a family. Alexander lingered in the doorway, his heart pounding as he observed Sophia collecting her belongings to depart. The notebook containing Lily's drawing seemed to weigh more than it ought to in his grasp. "Miss Daniels," he said, his voice now gentler, "you dropped this." Sophia turned, her eyes widening in recognition of the notebook. "Thank you so much. That's the place where I've been documenting Lily's progress." Alexander extended it, the page remaining open to the family illustration. "Is this aspect of her development as well?" Sophia's cheeks flushed a delicate hue as she accepted the notebook. "Indeed, that is correct. The connection between emotional engagement and cognitive development is profound. The drawing illustrates her renewed sense of connection." Alexander gulped. "To you, to the pursuit of knowledge," Sophia adjusted softly. "And maybe to you too. She never stops mentioning you. Does she?" His voice carried a clear sense of astonishment. Sophia gave a slight nod. "She cherishes each moment you share with her. She shared with me the latest tech product from your company and expressed her pride in her father's role in its creation." A sensation constricted within Alexander's chest. "I would appreciate the opportunity to observe your teaching methods in practice, if that is agreeable. I might be able to participate in tomorrow's session." Sophia's smile radiated warmth while maintaining an air of professionalism. "Absolutely, I believe that would be fantastic for Lily." Once she departed, Alexander discovered himself meandering into Lily's bedroom. His daughter perched on her bed, meticulously arranging the freshly baked cookies they had crafted onto a plate. "I saved the best ones for you, Daddy," she said, presenting him with a cookie that was a bit lopsided. Alexander settled next to her, savoring a bite. "It's absolutely delightful." Lily explained that Miss Sophia believes baking combines both science and math. "Have you heard about that?" Alexander confessed that he did not. "What additional lessons does Miss Sophia impart to you?" For the next 20 minutes, Lily spoke with enthusiasm about Sophia's lessons, detailing how they measured rainfall over a week to create graphs, how they constructed a small circuit to grasp mathematical relationships, and how Sophia used music theory to explain fractions. Later that night, Alexander sat in his home office, the glow of the monitor illuminating his face as he watched the security camera footage unfold. He had set up the cameras around the house to guarantee Lily's safety with different caretakers, yet he seldom reviewed the footage. He sat back, engrossed in the clips from Sophia's past visits. There stood his daughter, giggling as Sophia transformed multiplication tables into a lively dance performance. Lily sat there, utterly absorbed, while Sophia unraveled a complex idea with the help of building blocks. The change was unmistakable. The once withdrawn little girl of recent months was beginning to blossom again under Sophia's nurturing guidance. Alexander turned off the footage and opened his desk drawer, retrieving a silver-framed photograph of Claire. His late wife returned his gaze with a smile, her blonde hair reminiscent of Lily's, her eyes sparkling with the same light he had started to notice blossoming in their daughter. He leaned closer to the photograph and murmured, "I believe you'd find her appealing." She is returning Lily to us. The following afternoon, Alexander decided to forego his meetings to attend Lily's tutoring session. He perched uncomfortably at the kitchen table, as Sophia unfurled a vibrant array of papers and tools. Sophia announced with enthusiasm, "Today we're going to tackle those tricky word problems, but first, let's start with our warm-up." Alexander observed in wonder as Sophia guided Lily through an array of rhythmic clapping sequences that matched multiplication facts. His daughter, after weeks of grappling with her 7 times tables, suddenly recited them effortlessly. "It's your turn now, Mr. Red," Sophia said abruptly, directing her warm brown eyes towards him. What is happening?" Lily giggled. "Daddy doesn't know the clapping game." Sophia was adamant that we needed to teach him. She grasped Alexander's hands gently, guiding them into the right position. "Just like this. Attempt to adhere to my structure." The gentle brush of her hands against his sparked an unforeseen thrill within Alexander. He clumsily tried to mimic her clapping rhythm, stumbling multiple times, as Lily chuckled with joy. "Oh, you could use some more practice, Daddy." It seemed true, Alexander conceded, astonished to discover a smile forming on his face. Time flew by in an instant. Alexander watched Sophia's techniques, captivated by her knack for simplifying intricate ideas with relatable illustrations. What stood out was the effortless connection between Sophia and Lily, the way they engaged with each other so naturally, a dynamic he had found difficult to recreate since Claire's passing. As Sophia gathered her belongings to depart, Alexander accompanied her to the entrance. He acknowledged that your methods are unconventional, yet undeniably effective. "Thank you for being here today," Sophia said. It held great significance for Lily. "Would you?" Alexander paused, a rare moment of uncertainty creeping in. "Have you thought about incorporating an additional session into the weekly schedule? I would ensure you are compensated fairly, naturally." Sophia inclined her head, observing him intently. "Could you please share the reason?" Alexander spoke softly, noting that Lily requires more than just academic enhancement. She requires what you offer her: engagement, connection, elements I have been unable to supply. For a brief instant, Sophia's polished exterior gave way to a more tender side. "Mr. Reed, you have experienced a profound and heart-wrenching loss. Be gentle with yourself." She paused, then continued. "I would be delighted to include an additional session, and maybe, just maybe, you could join us on occasion." Once she departed, Alexander discovered Lily in the library, diligently tackling the practice problems that Sophia had given her. Lily explained with excitement. "Miss Sophia says that if I finish these, we can start on our science fair project next week." "Science exhibition?" Alexander inquired. "Indeed, Linda. She believes I have the intelligence to secure the top spot." Alexander took a seat next to his daughter. "Do you require assistance?" Lily gazed up at him, her expression a blend of astonishment and joy. "Is that so?" "Indeed," Alexander affirmed, sensing a long-suppressed energy starting to awaken inside him. That evening, he discovered himself reaching for Claire's old recipe box, an item he hadn't opened since her passing. Inside was the chocolate chip cookie recipe that had earned her a beloved reputation among their friends. Maybe it was time to cherish the sweet memories, not just the sorrow. As he traced his finger along Claire's handwriting, Alexander silently vowed he would strive to be the father Lily truly deserved, and if that required allowing Sophia Daniels to disrupt their meticulously arranged lives, then so be it. Sophia savored her coffee, observing her grandmother Evelyn as she deftly knitted in their snug apartment living room. The rain drummed softly against the windows, enveloping the space in a warm, inviting ambience despite its limited size. Evelyn remarked casually, "That millionaire of yours called again. 3rd time this week." "He's not my millionaire, Grandma," Sophia replied with a smile, "and he's simply worried about Lily's progress." Evelyn hummed with a hint of doubt. "Men rarely reach out regarding fractions and spelling assessments." Sophia rolled her eyes, yet a smile crept onto her face despite her best efforts to hide it. Ever since Alexander started attending their tutoring sessions 2 weeks ago, there had been a noticeable change in their dynamic. He had shed the icy, daunting persona from their initial encounter, revealing a father earnestly seeking to rebuild his relationship with his daughter. Sophia defended him, highlighting the challenges he faced. Losing his wife, raising Lily on his own while managing his company, and now, he's beginning to see the lovely Tutor who is rekindling joy in their home. Evelyn concluded with a perceptive glance. Sophia sensed a flush rise to her cheeks. It's not quite that way. If that's what you believe, my dear. Evelyn picked up her knitting once more. Are you going to be home for dinner tomorrow? Are you burning the midnight oil at the mansion once more? In fact, I'm assisting Lily with her science fair project. Alexander suggested he could arrange dinner for us. Evelyn's eyes sparkled with a hint of mischief. So we're on a first-name basis now, are we? Sophia playfully tossed a small cushion at her grandmother, and they both erupted in laughter. The following evening, Sophia made her way to the Reed mansion, bringing along the necessary supplies for their volcano project. She discovered Alexander in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, earnestly trying to follow a recipe. Miss Daniels, he said, glancing up with a sense of relief. I'm so relieved to see you. I fear I'm botching Claire's lasagna recipe. Sophia placed her bags aside and approached him. Are you cooking for the first time? Is it really that clear? He inquired, a humble grin playing on his lips. I aim to create a delightful surprise for Lily. Claire would prepare this lasagna for memorable events. Sophia delicately retrieved the wooden spoon from his grasp. Allow me to assist you. Cooking is fundamentally a science, after all. Sophia and Alexander collaborated closely, with Sophia leading Alexander through the steps of the recipe. As they exchanged ingredients, their fingers would occasionally graze against one another, each fleeting contact igniting a subtle thrill within Sophia that she fought hard to dismiss. What inspired your culinary journey? Alexander observed, captivated by her deftness as she expertly layered the pasta. Sophia shared that her parents moved from Italy when she was just 5 years old. Our bond to home was preserved through the meals we shared. My mother was adamant that I master each and every family recipe. Alexander spoke softly. Lily never had that opportunity with Claire. Her diagnosis came soon after Lily celebrated her 5th birthday. Sophia looked at him, noticing the anguish marked on his face. Creating those memories is always possible, no matter the time. That is precisely what you are engaged in at this moment. Lily burst into the kitchen, her enthusiasm palpable. Could that be lasagna? Just like how Mom made it. Your dad's been putting in a lot of effort on it, Sophia remarked, a smile directed at Alexander. Would you like to assist us in completing it? The trio worked on the dish in harmony, with Lily animatedly sharing tales from her day while Alexander engaged with her, posing questions and chuckling at her anecdotes. Sophia watched the interaction, a gentle warmth blossoming in her chest. This is the essence of healing. Following dinner, they laid out newspaper over the dining table in preparation for the volcano project. Sophia illustrated the technique of mixing the papier-mâché, guiding Lily to achieve the right consistency. Like this, Daddy? Lily exclaimed, leading her father's hands through the sticky concoction. Alexander made a playful face at the chaos, yet he pressed on with his assistance. As Lily stepped away to wash her hands, he directed his attention to Sophia. He expressed his gratitude softly, saying, I can't thank you enough. It's not solely about Lily's grades, but rather this. He waved his hand to indicate the surroundings. Our home has not experienced this vibrancy since Claire. Sophia experienced a delightful flutter in her heart. You're tackling the challenging aspect, Alexander. You are present for her. I ought to have been doing that from the very beginning. Sophia spoke softly. Grief doesn't adhere to a timeline. You have arrived. Their gazes locked, an unvoiced connection lingering in the air. Alexander inched forward, then caught himself, clearing his throat. We ought to complete the volcano base before it sets, he remarked, his tone gruffer than earlier. Sophia nodded, attempting to push aside the disappointment stirring within her heart. Absolutely. As Sophia got ready to depart, Lily, beaming with pride, insisted on accompanying her to the door, tightly holding onto the day's math worksheet that showcased her flawless score. Is it possible for Miss Sophia to attend my ballet recital next weekend? Daddy? Lily inquired, her gaze filled with hope as she looked up at her father. Alexander paused, casting a fleeting look at Sophia. I have no doubt that Miss Daniels has alternative arrangements. Sophia interjected with a warm smile. I'd be delighted to join if your father is all right with it. Why don't we all go together? Alexander proposed, catching both of them off guard. How about we go out for dinner afterward to celebrate? The glimmer of hope in his gaze caused Sophia's determination to falter. She was aware that she was stepping over a boundary. Tutors typically didn't join family gatherings. Yet, the sincerity in Alexander's gaze made it hard to say no. That sounds delightful, she concurred, before she could talk herself out of it. Once she departed, Sophia lingered in her car for a few moments, grappling with the turmoil of her mixed feelings. She found herself drawn to both Alexander and Lily, forming connections that transcended mere professional limits. The logical choice would be to take a step back and suggest another tutor, yet as she remembered the kindness in Alexander's gaze and the happiness in Lily's tone, Sophia realized she couldn't bear to part with them at this moment. Not when they were finally mending. Not when she truly sensed that she had discovered a place where she fit in. 2 days later, Alexander stood in his closet, contemplating 2 different ties and feeling utterly absurd. It was merely a children's ballet recital, not an extravagant affair, yet he discovered a newfound concern for his appearance that he hadn't felt in years. The phone buzzed to life, an urgent call from his assistant regarding a pressing client issue. I'm afraid I can't come in, Alexander stated with conviction. Today, I have some special plans with my daughter. He ended the call, taken aback by the simplicity of the choice he had made. Half a year prior, he would have hurried to the office without a second thought. The mere idea of letting down Lily and Sophia was beyond contemplation. As the doorbell chimed, Alexander took a moment to scrutinize his reflection, ensuring he was ready before descending the stairs. Sophia lingered in the entryway, radiating elegance in a simple blue dress, her dark hair cascading in gentle waves around her shoulders. Dear Miss Sophia, Lily dashed down the stairs in her ballet attire, leaping into Sophia's embrace. What do you think of my costume? My father assisted me in styling my bun. You look stunning, Sophia said, embracing her warmly. And your bun is perfect, Alexander said, a wave of nervousness washing over him. Sophia, you look absolutely enchanting. Her smile in reply sent his heart racing. Thanks a lot. You present yourself quite nicely. Lily took hold of their hands. Let's go, Miss. Jenkins insists that dancers must arrive on time. As they strolled toward the car, Alexander suddenly recognized that, for the first time since Claire's passing, the emptiness in his chest had transformed into a warm and hopeful sensation, resembling a second chance. Which one do you prefer? Alexander raised 2 distinct eyes, a sense of unease washing over him. Lily made her choice, sitting cross-legged on his bed. The blue one it was. It complements Miss Sophia's eyes perfectly. Alexander hesitated. Her eyes are a rich shade of brown, Lily. But she's wearing a blue dress tonight, his daughter replied, exuding the assurance of someone well acquainted with the significant nuances of those she held dear. She informed me yesterday. Alexander grinned, swapping the red tie for the blue one. The charity gala this evening would mark his inaugural public appearance alongside Sophia. It wasn't a date, he kept telling himself. He had merely requested her presence after his regular companion for business had backed out. Sophia had been uncertain at first, but Lily's passionate recommendation had convinced her. The previous month had reshaped their connection. What started as tutoring sessions transformed into family dinners, weekend outings, and preparations for the science fair. The mansion that once resonated with solitude now vibrated with joy, yet neither he nor Sophia had recognized the burgeoning chemistry between them. The doorbell rang, and Lily dashed down the stairs, leaving him behind. Alexander trailed behind at a leisurely pace, fiddling with his cufflinks. An anniversary gift from Claire, and attempting to suppress the guilt that lingered whenever he experienced joy. His breath hitched as he caught sight of Sophia in the entryway. Her blue dress exuded elegance in its simplicity, while her hair was artfully swept up into a graceful knot. She appeared stunning, yet what truly mattered was how at ease she seemed in his foyer, engaging in conversation with Mrs. Patterson, their devoted housekeeper of many years. "You look absolutely stunning," Alexander remarked as he descended the stairs. Sophia felt a warm flush rise to her cheeks. "Thanks a lot. This is, in fact, something I got from my friend Mia. I typically don't go to events that are this extravagant." "Daddy, you should take a picture," Lily urged, already lifting his phone in anticipation. They stood together with a hint of discomfort, Alexander's hand just grazing Sophia's waist. The warmth of her presence beside him was a curious blend of the unfamiliar and the intimately known. "Now you two must dance," Lily instructed, her demeanor unwavering. "Lily," Alexander started, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. "Miss Sophia and I ought to truly," but then, with a smile, Sophia interjected. "I was assured there would be dancing when I consented to this event. It's a good opportunity to hone my skills." She extended her hand, and after a brief pause, Alexander grasped it. Mrs. Patterson graciously activated the sound system, allowing a gentle melody to envelop the space. They glided through a graceful waltz. Alexander was taken aback by how effortlessly they synced with one another. Sophia confessed softly, "Lily's been coaching me. She mentioned that you used to dance with her mother." Alexander's step wavered momentarily. Claire had a passion for dancing. Sophia's gaze was soft and kind. "She seems like an incredible person." He concurred with a gentle addition. "She would have appreciated you." A subtle change flickered across Sophia's face. Astonishment, delight, and a profound feeling that Alexander found difficult to articulate. They kept dancing, oblivious to the fact that Mrs. Patterson had quietly led a mesmerized Lily out of the room. The gala for the Metropolitan Children's Foundation was buzzing with energy when they made their entrance. Alexander led Sophia through the bustling ballroom, making introductions to colleagues and friends along the way. Those who spotted the notoriously private widower with a companion managed to mask their astonishment effectively. "As I stand here," a deep voice proclaimed, Alexander read as I live and breathe, "at last I find myself back among society." Alexander glanced over to see Richard Harmon, his longtime friend and business associate, making his way towards him, a champagne flute elegantly held in his hand. "Richard, allow me to introduce you to Sophia Daniels." "Sophia, allow me to introduce Richard, my VP of Operations and a longtime friend." "So you're the one who works wonders," Richard said, shaking Sophia's hand with sincere warmth. "I've heard so much about you from him, but he neglected to mention just how stunning you are." "Richard," Alexander cautioned, yet Sophia chuckled. "It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Alexander has expressed great admiration for you as well." Richard chuckled, expressing his skepticism, yet he acknowledged the effort in diplomacy. He inched nearer to Sophia. "Before you, Lily consumed every conversation he had. Now it's all about Sophia this and Sophia that. Your impact has been remarkable." Alexander sensed a flush creeping across his cheeks. "Don't you have benefactors to enchant, Richard?" Richard gave Sophia a playful wink. "Save me a dance later," he said, before vanishing into the throng. "Apologies for that," Alexander remarked, as they approached their table. "Don't be," Sophia replied, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "It's reassuring to realize that I'm not alone in discussing our tutoring sessions." The evening unfolded beautifully, with a delightful dinner leading into an enchanting session of dancing. Alexander discovered a sense of ease that had eluded him at these gatherings since Claire's presence faded. Sophia effortlessly blended into his realm, captivating and insightful with all those she encountered. On multiple occasions, he found himself captivated by her laughter and animated gestures, a warmth blossoming in his chest that was unrelated to the champagne. "Excuse me, may I interject?" A gentle voice broke the moment as Alexander and Sophia moved gracefully to the rhythm of a slow song. Alexander glanced over to see Marcus Phillips wearing a chilling smile directed at them. His stomach knotted with tension. He recalled the name from the rare time Sophia had brought up her former fiancé. Marcus, Sophia said, her smile wavering. Your presence here caught me by surprise. Horizon Tech is a significant contributor, Marcus responded, his eyes shifting toward Alexander. I'm leading their AI ethics division now. You must be Alexander Reed. Alexander nodded, instinctively drawing Sophia closer with a firm embrace. Delight, Marcus continued. Sophia and I have a long history together. She consistently possessed ambitions. It's great to witness her finally engaging with the right people. The suggestion was unmistakable. Alexander sensed the tension radiating from Sophia as she sat next to him. Alexander remarked with a calm demeanor that Sophia's educational methods are groundbreaking. In just 3 months, she has achieved more with my daughter than a whole year of private schooling ever could. How charming, Marcus responded, though I have often pondered why someone with her remarkable potential would choose to instruct children in fundamental arithmetic. It seems I have come to grasp the advantages at last. Sophia advanced, her voice strained. That will suffice, Marcus. Certainly. Marcus offered a smile that lacked sincerity. I suppose I should allow you to return to your tutoring duties. Alexander, let me offer you a piece of guidance. Sophia has always been drawn to achievement. Ensure that her interest goes beyond just your financial status. He turned and left, an awkward stillness lingering behind him. I am truly sorry, Sophia said, her face flushed with embarrassment. Marcus and I had a tumultuous ending, but it was simply unacceptable. Alexander's thoughts were in turmoil, as Marcus's words struck deep into his vulnerabilities. Is there any validity to his claims? Excuse me? Sophia appeared utterly shocked. On the allure of achievement, regarding the choice to pursue teaching, Sophia's demeanor grew stern. Is that truly your perspective? That I'm using your daughter to gain access to your finances? That's not what I intended, Alexander clarified. Yet, the seed of uncertainty had taken root. I simply can't grasp why someone with your remarkable abilities would choose to engage in private tutoring when you could waste time, Sophia interjected, her tone quiet yet fervent. Instructing is not a compromise, Alexander. It's my calling. Lily is not just a tool for achieving goals. She is an exceptional young person for whom I have developed a profound affection. She halted, pain clear in her gaze, as I believed I had for her father. She pivoted and strode purposefully toward the exit. Alexander paused for a heartbeat, then moved forward, quickly closing the distance to her in the lavish lobby. Sophia, hold on a moment. I expressed myself impulsively. She confronted him, her eyes shimmering with unfallen tears. Learning transcends status and salary. It's all about forging bonds. I believed you were beginning to grasp it. I do understand, Alexander insisted, raking a hand through his hair. You've revealed the void in our lives, highlighting how much Lily craves beyond mere academic achievement. And how about you? Sophia inquired softly. What is it that you require, Alexander? The inquiry lingered in the air, heavy with emotions left unsaid. Alexander moved in, his hand rising to caress her cheek. He started to speak, but the persistent ringing of his phone cut him off. He cast a fleeting look at the screen, his home number displayed there. It is Mrs. Patterson. This is something I must take. Sophia acknowledged with a nod, retreating slightly as he responded. Alexander's expression shifted from irritation to worry to panic. We must leave now, he insisted, abruptly terminating the conversation. Lily is experiencing a significant fever. Mrs. Patterson is escorting her to the emergency room. All tension briefly set aside. They hurried to his vehicle. While Alexander navigated the road, Sophia leaned in to grasp his hand gently. Despite any complexities in their relationship, their shared love for Lily remained the central truth, and that would suffice for the time being. The fluorescent lights in the hospital waiting room bathed everything in a stark, unyielding brightness. Alexander moved restlessly, his anxiety palpable, while Sophia remained still, her garland dress a striking contrast to the clinical environment around them. Mister, have you read? A physician came forward, clipboard in hand. Your daughter's condition is now stable. She is dealing with bacterial pneumonia, but we've initiated antibiotic treatment. May I have the opportunity to see her? Alexander inquired right away. She's taking a break at the moment, but indeed, she has been inquiring about her father and a person named Sophia. Alexander cast a quick look at Sophia, who lingered uncertainly. Seems like it's time for me to leave. This is a moment for family. Please stay, Alexander said softly. She desires your presence. They trailed behind the doctor to Lily's room, where the petite girl appeared even smaller against the stark white of the hospital bed. Her eyes sparkled at the sight of them, even as her cheeks glowed with the heat of fever. Father, dear Miss Sophia, she extended her hands. Alexander hurried to her side, gently caressing her hair. How are you doing, my dear? My chest hurts, Lily whispered, her voice a fragile rasp. But I possess the same courage that my mother had. Don't I? Alexander gulped nervously. Exactly like Mom. Sophia made her way over, grasping Lily's extended hand with a gentle touch. You certainly had us worried, Miss Lily. Will you remain? Lily inquired, her eyelids heavy from the effects of the medication. Sophia assured that she would be there for as long as necessary. Alexander's phone vibrated persistently. He retrieved it to find several messages from his lead developer regarding a significant system failure at their largest client. This matter demands his prompt focus, likely involving several hours of effort. He whispered to Sophia about the Singapore project. I must confront this situation. Sophia gave a slight nod. Go ahead. I'll remain here with her. Do you really think so? Absolutely, Sophia responded. Lily will have company, and it's important for her to take a break. This is what you compensate me for, don't forget? The subtle inflection in her voice brought to mind their lingering disagreement. Alexander paused, caught in a conflict of duties. I will return at the earliest opportunity. He toiled away in a serene nook of the hospital, periodically stepping back to see how Lily was faring. Every time he discovered Sophia present, gently reading to his slumbering daughter, rearranging her pillows, conversing with the doctors, or simply cradling her hand. Upon his return, he discovered Sophia had fallen asleep, her head gently resting close to Lily's hand, steadfastly honoring her vow not to depart. By morning, the crisis had been resolved, and Alexander came back to see Sophia assisting Lily with her breakfast. Lily cheerfully informed him that the doctor said she could go home tomorrow if she continued taking her medicine, looking noticeably better. That's wonderful news, Alexander said, observing the weariness etched on Sophia's face after the long night of waiting. Sophia, it would be wise for you to return home and take some time to rest. Mrs. Patterson is capable of stepping in. Do you really think so? Sophia inquired, suppressing a yawn. Optimistic. I appreciate your support in being there for her. Once Sophia departed, Alexander found himself perched on the edge of Lily's bed. It seems you have quite an admiration for Miss Sophia, don't you? Lily nodded with great enthusiasm. She turns every moment into a delightful experience, even when feeling unwell. She shared tales with me throughout the night, soothing my restless heart when sleep eluded me. Her kindness was truly remarkable. Lily's demeanor shifted to one of gravity. Father, do you have feelings for Miss Sophia as well? Alexander pondered his response thoughtfully. Absolutely, I do. She has truly been a great asset to our team. So, what was the reason behind making her feel sad at the party? Alexander's brows arched in surprise. What led you to discover that? This morning, I overheard her chatting with her grandma on the phone. She wept quietly. The realization that he had brought tears to Sophia's eyes struck Alexander with an intensity he hadn't anticipated. Adult relationships can be quite intricate, Lily. Lily shared a piece of childhood wisdom, recalling her mum's words. If you make someone cry, you should apologize and offer them flowers. Alexander recognized the brilliance of his mother, a pang of sorrow filling his heart as he recalled Claire. He was taken aback to discover that the pain, while still there, had somehow dulled. Perhaps I will receive Mississippi. Sophia, a bouquet of flowers. A week later, Sophia found herself staring at an email that would alter the course of her life. A 2-year fellowship was being offered to her by the International Education Foundation to create innovative teaching methods in Europe. An incredible chance that would propel her career to new heights. Her finger lingered above the reply button, her thoughts in conflict. That evening, while assisting Lily with her science fair project at the Reed Mansion, Sophia found it difficult to concentrate. The fellowship application had been submitted months prior, before she had crossed paths with the Reeds, before life had taken such a tangled turn. "You appear to be lost in thought," Alexander noted while they tidied up after Lily had settled down for the night. Sophia revealed that she received a job offer today. "The International Education Foundation has tasked me with creating curriculum in Europe." Alexander stood still. "What about Europe? How long will it be?" 2 years. The stillness that ensued was thick with unexpressed feelings. "That's quite an opportunity," Alexander finally remarked, his tone meticulously even. "It's the culmination of years of effort," Sophia concurred, examining his expression for any sign of response. "Are you going to accept it?" Sophia averted her gaze. "I ought to. In my career, it encompasses all my aspirations." "And on a personal note," Alexander inquired softly. The question lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken words and unexpressed feelings. Just as Sophia was about to respond, Alexander's phone interrupted with a ring. "Richard is reaching out regarding a pressing business matter." As the atmosphere fractured, Alexander stepped away to answer the call. When he came back, Sophia had already gathered her belongings to depart. "I should go," she said, her expression carefully veiled. "The hour is late." Sophia regarding the fellowship. "I've got a bit of time to think it over," she interjected. "Let's hold off on that conversation for the moment. Are you still willing to assist with the science fair?" Alexander inquired, the question serving as a substitute for all the thoughts he struggled to express. "Please stay. Your presence is essential. Your presence is essential to me." "Absolutely," Sophia assured. "I wouldn't trade it for the world." At the door, Alexander felt an irresistible urge to grasp her hand. "Sophia, can you tell me about the events that unfolded at the gala? The implications of Marcus. I ought to have trusted your intentions from the start." Sophia's smile carried a hint of sorrow. "Yet you did, and perhaps that's for the better outcome. It brought to mind the limits I've been pushing." Alexander felt the urge to express his thoughts, to convey the depth of her significance to them both. Yet the right words eluded him. He had dedicated 2 years to reconstructing his defenses following Claire's passing. Disassembling them once more seemed fraught with peril. Sophia grasped his hand tightly for a moment before releasing it. "Sleep well, Alexander." 2 weeks later, Sophia assisted Alexander and Lily in adding the final details to the volcano project, savoring these moments as they unfolded. She had discovered an exceptionally skilled replacement tutor, Dr. Melissa Chun, a former university professor boasting outstanding credentials. Alexander maintained a composed demeanor during the introduction, while Lily averted her gaze from the woman entirely. Lily had declared afterward that she didn't want a new tutor. "I wish for you to remain. At times, individuals must tread divergent roads," Sophia had articulated softly, her heart aching at the sense of betrayal reflected in Lily's gaze. On the eve of the science fair, Alexander held an intimate farewell dinner at the mansion. Mrs. Patterson truly surpassed expectations with a delightful spread of Sophia's beloved Italian dishes, even crafting tiramisu using her grandmother's cherished recipe. After dinner, Lily was determined to present Sophia with a parting gift, a carefully crafted scrapbook brimming with photographs and keepsakes from their shared moments. "In an effort to ensure we remain in your thoughts," Lily said, her gaze lowered. "Oh, Lily, I could never forget you," Sophia promised, struggling to hold back her tears. "This is the most exquisite present I have ever been given." While Lily assisted Mrs. Patterson with the coffee, Alexander and Sophia enjoyed a brief moment of solitude together. "I extend my best wishes for your success with the fellowship," Alexander stated with a sense of formality. "Thank you," Sophia responded, her tone just as rigid. "Will you return afterward?" The inquiry slipped out before he had a chance to restrain it. Sophia held his gaze unwaveringly. "I'm uncertain. From the doorway, Lily's soft voice broke the silence, asking, "Is Daddy sad again like he was after Mommy left?" The naive inquiry lingered, a poignant reminder of everything that was on the line. Sophia noticed the color drain from Alexander's face, the meticulously built facade beginning to crumble and expose the deep anguish hidden within. In that moment, Sophia understood she wasn't merely departing from a job. She was parting from a family. The anguish reflected in Alexander's eyes revealed that he was losing much more than just a tutor. 6 months seemed to stretch on endlessly. Sophia lingered by her apartment window in London, observing the rain cascade down the glass while gently holding a steaming cup of tea. The city embraced her in a professional manner. Her creative teaching approaches garnered acclaim across the educational landscape, and the fellowship surpassed all her anticipations. Still, there was an absence. Her phone vibrated, signaling a message from Marcus. After their unexpected encounter at the gala, he had been relentless in his efforts to revive their connection, trailing her to London under the pretense of a professional opportunity. This evening, he extended another invitation for dinner, assuring her that they would talk about something significant. Sophia placed the phone aside, choosing not to respond. Even with her grandmother's urging to reconsider him, she couldn't muster any feelings for Marcus, only a faint irritation at his relentless pursuit. A framed photo on her desk drew her attention. Lily stood at the science fair, radiating with pride next to her impressive volcano. Alexander loomed behind her, a figure of strength and presence. They emerged victorious, claiming the top spot. Sophia received a succinct, formal email from Alexander, congratulating her on the fellowship and providing an update on Lily's progress. That was 5 months prior. Since then, their exchanges had been infrequent and uncomfortably formal. Physician Chun seemed to be excelling in Lily's education, although Alexander noted that his daughter still inquired about Sophia from time to time. Sophia lifted the photograph, her finger gliding over Lily's beaming visage. Then Alexander's. The pain in her chest grew stronger. With a soft chime, her laptop announced the arrival of a new email, her flight confirmation for the much-anticipated journey to Seattle. Sophia had planned a short trip back home for her grandmother's birthday, which was coming up next week. She had kept her visit to the Reeds a secret. What would be the purpose? They had progressed just as she had. That was the mantra she repeated to herself. "Do you really think this meeting is a good idea?" Richard inquired, observing Alexander from across the conference room table. "The investors in Tokyo can afford to hold off for another week." Alexander gave a slight shake of his head. "Finalizing the deal promptly will yield the best outcome. Reserve the flight." Richard noted with care that it was Evelyn Danielle's birthday that weekend. "Did you purchase that elegant gift basket for her last month?" Alexander tensed up. "What makes you aware of that?" "Lily mentioned," Richard responded with ease. She also noted that Sophia could be returning home. "That's unconfirmed," Alexander remarked, adjusting papers that were already in order. Richard reclined in his chair. 2 years feels like an eternity, Alexander. I'm not quite sure I understand your point." "Of course you do." Richard's voice became gentler. "Your essence has shifted since her departure. Lily hasn't either." Alexander let out a weary sigh, the meticulously crafted facade beginning to show signs of wear. "Lily is doing well. Dr. Chun is outstanding." "Dr. Chun is not Sophia," Richard replied. "And you are aware of it." Alexander approached the window, gazing out at the sprawling Seattle skyline. "It holds no significance. She has decided." "Did she really? Or did you distance yourself from her out of fear?" Alexander pivoted, annoyance gleaming in his gaze. "This conversation is not happening." "Very well," Richard acknowledged, rising to depart. "However, take a moment to reflect on this. If Claire were present, what advice would she offer you?" The question hung in the air, echoing even after Richard had departed. That evening, Alexander sat in his home office, gazing intently at Claire's photograph. "What advice would you offer me?" He murmured softly to the beaming likeness of his departed wife. A gentle tap broke the silence of his contemplation. Lily lingered in the doorway, dressed in her pajamas and looking drowsy. "Father, may I pose an important question to you?" "Absolutely, darling." He beckoned for her to come to his side. Lily settled onto his lap, an action she hadn't taken in months. Mrs. Patterson mentioned that Miss Sophia will be returning next week to celebrate her grandma's birthday. Alexander felt a sudden jolt in his chest. "Is that correct?" Lily inclined her head with a grave expression. "May we have the opportunity to see her, please? Her absence weighs heavily on my heart." The unfiltered truth in his daughter's voice shattered something within Alexander. "I miss her as well," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. "So why not just share it with her?" Lily inquired with the candid reasoning that only a child possesses. "Mom always said you should express your feelings to others before the moment passes you by." Alexander embraced his daughter tightly, savoring the delightful fragrance of her shampoo. "When did you acquire such wisdom?" Miss Sophia asserts that true wisdom is derived from the guidance of a good teacher. Lily responded with earnestness. Alexander chuckled, the sound rough from neglect. Of course she would say that, right? After settling Lily into bed, Alexander immersed himself in the task of searching for flights to London. The logical side of his mind enumerated every reason this was a dreadful notion. The timing, the potential for rejection, the upheaval it could cause for Lily if things took a turn for the worse. For the first time in years, Alexander chose to heed the call of his heart instead. Sophia's flight touched down in Seattle on an unexpectedly bright afternoon. Upon arriving at their apartment, Sophia found her grandmother peacefully napping. She set down her suitcase and chose to stroll through the familiar neighborhood. Her feet moved instinctively toward the park, a familiar place where she had frequently brought Lily for lessons in the open air. The recollection of the little girl's joyful laughter as they counted squirrels and measured the height of trees with shadows brought a smile to Sophia's face, even as a pang tugged at her heart. "I had a feeling I would come across you here." Sophia felt a surge of energy course through her at the sound of that voice. She turned slowly to find Alexander, standing a few feet away, exuding a sense of familiarity yet possessing an intriguing difference, more at ease, his typically immaculate hair slightly tousled by the gentle breeze. "Alexander," she controlled her voice, though it came out embarrassingly breathless. "What gave it away that I had returned?" "Mrs. Patterson has her connections," he said with a slight grin. "How is London treating you?" "It was a rainy day," Sophia replied. "Expert. Accomplished." "However," Alexander urged, moving in closer. Sophia took a deep breath. "Yet not home." A glimmer danced in Alexander's gaze. "Lily feels your absence deeply. She inquires about you all the time." Sophia confessed that she missed her as well. "How is she doing?" "Excelling in studies." Dr. Chun demonstrates an impressive level of detail in their work. Alexander hesitated. Yet, there seems to be an absence. The sound of laughter, the spark of imagination, the delight found in acquiring knowledge. He advanced another step nearer. "The cookies are in the kitchen." Sophia couldn't help but smile, even against her better judgment. "I have no doubt that Dr. Chun possesses a variety of other strengths." "Indeed, she does," Alexander acknowledged with a nod. "Yet she doesn't compare to you." The straightforward declaration lingered in the air, heavy with significance. "I made a mistake, Sophia," Alexander pressed on, sensing her silence. "I allowed my insecurities and uncertainties to drive away the greatest thing that had come into our lives since Claire." "Alexander, kindly allow me to complete my thoughts." He swept his fingers through his hair, revealing a rare moment of vulnerability that she had seldom witnessed from him. "Following Claire's passing, I constructed barriers to shield both myself and Lily. You went beyond teaching her fractions and vocabulary. You showed us the way to embrace life anew. And when you departed, you retreated beyond the barriers," Sophia concluded softly. Alexander gave a slight nod. "For a period of time. However, Lily refused to allow me. She continually referenced your work, employing your techniques." He smiled with a hint of sadness, "cherishing the essence of your spirit within our home. She has a remarkable ability to convince others," Sophia remarked, feeling a lump rise in her throat. "The fellowship concludes in 18 months, Alexander stated with caution. What occurs next? Sophia inhaled deeply, finding her calm. I have received an offer for a permanent role with the Foundation. Alexander's expression dimmed a bit, though he made an effort to conceal it. That's absolutely delightful. You truly deserve this. However, I have not yet accepted, Sophia continued, because there's an absence felt there as well. A glimmer of hope shone in Alexander's eyes. What is absent? Sophia summoned her bravery, seizing the opportunity to truly impact the lives of those she holds dear. A young girl who imparted as much wisdom to me as I offered her. Alongside her father, who exemplified true bravery by learning to embrace love once more after enduring profound grief. Alexander stepped closer, gently grasping her hands in his. I have something to reveal to you. Would you accompany me? Curiosity soared. Sophia gave a slight nod. They navigated the city in a serene quietude, arriving at a structure nestled within the rejuvenated educational district. A polished sign displayed the words, the Claire Reed Foundation for Educational Innovation. What is this all about? Sophia inquired, as Alexander guided her through the entrance. Once you departed, it dawned on me that I possessed the means to create an impact, he articulated, leading her through vibrant, contemporary environments crafted for education. Claire has always held the conviction that education ought to be available to all. This organization offers scholarships and creative educational tools to communities in need. Sophia ran her fingers along a wall display featuring teaching methodologies that seemed strikingly reminiscent. Here are my approaches. It was all inspired by you, Alexander confirmed. The foundation requires a leader, an individual brimming with vision and enthusiasm, who recognizes that education transcends mere test scores. It's fundamentally about forging connections. Sophia faced him, a look of realization spreading across her features. Are you presenting me with a job opportunity? No, Alexander responded gently. I present to you an opportunity, a lasting influence, a way to touch the lives of countless children through your techniques. He grasped her hands once more. Even if you never enter this building, I want you to understand that my feelings for you are entirely independent of any professional connection. Sophia felt her heart pounding in her chest. What are you trying to convey, Alexander? He replied with a straightforward declaration of love. Lily has deep affection for you. If you could grant us another opportunity, we aspire to create a life alongside you, be it here in London or in any corner of the globe. Sophia's eyes brimmed with tears. My affection for both of you runs so deep that it fills me with fear. Alexander gently wiped away a tear that had fallen on her cheek. I understand a thing or two about that particular kind of fear. Yet, a sage once imparted to me that the most profound teachings come from the heart. Sophia chuckled amidst her tears. That certainly seems insightful. He concurred, his gaze fixed intently on her. Radiant, empathetic, and stunning. She guided a fractured family towards unity once more. He inched nearer. If she allows me, I would cherish the opportunity to dedicate my life to expressing my gratitude for that precious gift. As their lips connected in a kiss that felt like a return to a familiar place, Sophia understood that often the most profound lessons are learned when one is open to embracing the essence of love. It had been 2 years since that day in the park. Sophia lingered in the doorway of the Reed Mansion kitchen, now her own, observing the unfolding scene with a heart brimming with happiness. Alexander and Lily were engaged in the delightful task of frosting a birthday cake, both covered in flour and sharing laughter as Lily's decorating attempts led to more icing on the counter than on the cake itself. At 9, nearing 10, Lily had grown taller, her blonde hair still styled in pigtails, yet her face revealing glimpses of the young woman she was destined to be. Sophia remarked, a playful lilt in her voice. You're creating quite the mess. Miss Sophia, Lily exclaimed, still using the title from time to time, even though Sophia had been her stepmother for more than a year now. You should be with Grandma Evelyn. This is unexpected. Sophia chuckled as she stepped into the kitchen, but Grandma dozed off, so I figured I'd head home early. Alexander gazed upward, affection shining in his eyes, as he admired his wife. Caught in the act, he leaned in with a conspiratorial whisper to Lily, who couldn't help but chuckle. Despite the many changes, the warmth of their bond continued to endure. Following their reunion, Sophia secured a part-time consulting position with the London Foundation and took on the role of director at the Claire Reid Foundation. The setup enabled her to apply her educational techniques in ways she had never thought feasible, all while maintaining time for her family. Their wedding was a small yet joyful affair, with Lily taking on the dual roles of flower girl and ring bearer with pride. Sophia's grandmother Evelyn had taken residence in the east wing of the mansion, infusing their blended family with her warmth and wisdom. Even Mrs. Patterson had stayed, though she now devoted more time to baking cookies with Lily than to upholding the previously immaculate standards of the house. "The cake is for your one-year anniversary," Lily said, trying to clean icing off her cheek, but only managing to smear it even more. "Could it be?" Sophia feigned astonishment, even though she and Alexander had meticulously arranged a serene celebration for that night. Alexander stepped from behind the counter, drying his hands on a towel before enveloping Sophia in his embrace. "Happy anniversary," he whispered, planting a gentle kiss on her temple. Sophia said, her voice tender with feeling, "We have something else to celebrate too. This morning, I accompanied my grandmother to the doctor." Alexander leaned back a bit to gaze at her expression. And Sophia took his hand, resting it softly on her smooth, flat stomach. "The educational team of the Reid family is set to grow in approximately 7 months. Alexander's eyes grew large, a sense of joy and wonder illuminating his face. "Is that so?" he murmured. Sophia nodded, her eyes shimmering with tears of joy. "Is that so? Excuse me? What's going on?" Lily insisted, leaving the cake behind to join them. Alexander lowered himself to meet her gaze. "Sophia is expecting a baby. You are about to become a big sister." Lily's face radiated with enthusiasm. "A newborn just like an actual infant that wails and all that." "Indeed, a genuine one," Sophia chuckled, pulling Lily into their warm embrace. "This is the most incredible surprise ever," Lily exclaimed, enveloping Sophia in a warm embrace, surpassing the cake in excellence. As they stood together in the kitchen, adorned with flower and icing and filled with happiness, Sophia reflected on the path that had led them to this moment. From that initial encounter in Alexander's office to this moment of sheer bliss, the journey had been anything but simple, yet each step had guided them precisely to where they were meant to be. On the wall beside them hung 2 photographs in a single frame, Claire beaming in the sunlight, and next to her, a family portrait captured at Sophia and Alexander's wedding. This arrangement did not erase the past but celebrated it, all while welcoming the future they were crafting together. Later that evening, after Lily had gone to bed, still brimming with excitement about becoming a big sister, Sophia and Alexander settled into the garden swing that had once been Claire's cherished spot. "Do you feel content?" Alexander inquired, his arm draped around her shoulders as they softly swayed beneath the stars. Sophia nestled closer, enveloped in a profound sense of tranquility, surpassing anything I had ever imagined. Alexander spoke softly, recalling Claire's words. "The most precious offering to your children is to demonstrate the essence of love. I believed I had lost my way after her passing, but then you appeared in my life. We all learned from one another," Sophia said, gently placing her hand over his. "The paramount lesson to take away from this is undeniable. Love stands as the ultimate instructor in life." As Alexander's lips brushed against hers in a gentle kiss, Sophia realized that certain lessons transcended the confines of classrooms and could not be quantified by test scores. They were educated in kitchens dusted with flour, in serene instances of bonding, and in the bravery to unveil your heart even after it has endured pain. For an educator who had always championed the significance of learning, it was the most profound revelation of all, that at times the pupil transforms into the mentor and the most precious lessons are not inscribed in textbooks, but in the narratives of a family navigating its journey back home.